Hi there, good morning. I'm Anna Caban coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I'm the brand ambassador for Balanced Body and also Contrology here. I'm really excited about this event today, our men's workout. We have a great lineup for you and we have a sneak peek at something so new. No one's seen this yet. So our guests today that'll be teaching you are Moses Urbano coming to you from San Diego and Joel Crosby coming to you from Duluth, Georgia. We have special guests, of course, our CEO and nice guy, Ken Endelman, and most importantly, Jay Grimes, without whom none of this could have been possible. Woohoo! So the way this is going to work today is we are going to start with Joel on the reformer. He's going to do a reformer workout for you, limited reps on some exercises, so he can put more of a focus on the men's exercises. And then we're popping over to San Diego to Moses. This is what's so exciting. He is going to premiere the brand new Contrology folding mat. Almost no one's seen this yet. I've certainly not seen it, so I'm slightly envious and super excited about this. So get ready for this. And yes, you're asking me when it's going to be available. Hold on to January, you can get your own. And then we'll pop back to Joel, and Joel is going to show us some exercises on the Cadillac and with the Contrology neck stretcher. I'm really excited because we have about 545 of you here today, and that is so amazing. Thank you all. For those of you that aren't seeing this live, it's because you're getting a recording. And if you are seeing it live and want to see it again, you're getting a recording. So you can get that, expect that on Monday. And what else do you need to know? This is your workout. This may be just an opportunity for you to watch the exercises. It may be some that you'd like to try, but please know to listen to your body, and please know that many of these exercises are really not meant to be done alone, especially the first time. So use your judgment, and please recognize that there's going to be some superstar things here that are best done with a professional Pilates instructor as your guide. So I think we should just get started. We're going to toss it to Joel, who's in Duluth, Georgia, who's ready to do the reformer. Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. I'm super excited to be able to show you some of these men's exercises. Just to kind of go over the format, I want to show the order of where some of these men's exercises go. So in order to fit everything in, I'm going to be doing a 1 rep reformer, and then slowing down when we get to the men's exercises to do full reps and maybe mention a few things about them. So if you're following along, it might be kind of hard to follow along, but it's good to know where these exercises are, because the men's exercises aren't done in isolation, just randomly. There is an order, and that's kind of what makes them challenging, is having the stamina from start to finish to put them in where they go. So that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, 1 rep reformer. So let's hold on tight. So just going through some of this rowing series, finding all the connections that we're going to need for the rest of the workout. Checking in with how everything is going. Right, go on to some long box series. Again, normally when you're doing a workout advanced, you do all these extra reps to get everything. But again, for time, we're just moving along. And on to our teaser. And we'll just do one little variation today. Some breaststroke. And we'll throw a little dash of combo in there today. All right, moving on. Done with this first long box. We'll move on to the long stretch series. I'm not going to do any variations today, just the basics on a lot of these exercises, just for time. The nice thing about doing one rep, Matt, is the exercises that are really hard, you only have to do it once. Not that I recommend doing one rep reformer very often. And on to some standing tendon stretch. Moving right along. No time to lose. Short box series. Nice thing about doing a quick reformer like this is it does make you focus on the order and the transitions. It's kind of a fun challenge. What? Oh, okay. Get a little feedback here. All right. So now let's go into the round spine in the short box. Really lengthening, opening up the spine. This one feels so good. One of those dessert exercises. Now, more challenging one is the long spine, keeping all that length as we try to go back long. And then a little side to side, bit of lateral work in the spine, and then the twist and range. Take long as you go back. Let's take a trip around the world. All right. Love that short box series. You hit all the different spine shapes. And now for the first nice big stretch of the day, the tree series. Some people love it. Some people hate it. It's good for you either way. Again, get that nice, delicious spine stretch. You can always listen to your body. Only go back as far as your spine feels good. Pilates should never hurt. It should always feel good in your spine anyway. Everything else should be working like crazy. But you want the back to always feel good. Stretch, open up the hips and thighs. And just prepping for the stuff that comes up next. All right, after that tough work, get a little dessert, some short spine massage. And this is one that, sadly, only one rep today. My spine's sad about that, but we must move on. Lead with the pelvis. Bend the knees in, try to lift the hips up to get extra length. And since we're here, may as well get a high frog in there. All right, let's do some semicircle. Start to move those hips a little bit more now. Gonna do it with the high bar today. Prepping for what's coming up next. This one is just so nice on the spine and the hips. Okay, now we're gonna do kind of the first men's exercise, which is the headstand. First headstand. Now we got everything prepped by everything we've done up to this point. So this is another one too. Don't do this without a spotter. I have safety crew off the side here just in case we need it, but it should be good. All right. First, find your connections. Make sure the earbuds are in since I'm upside down. Find that length. Just to make sure I'm in the right spot. Do one hands. Go out, start prepping for a headstand. Now really find the connection of the legs into the body. No floppy legs. Just prepping for what's coming up. I like to imagine if someone were to hit my leg, could I stabilize against it? And that kind of lets me know if I'm connected or not. Can I stabilize against some opposing pressure? Prepping. There we go. That make you nervous? I was wobbling on purpose just to build some suspense. Headstand 2, another men's exercise. A lot of stuff on the neck. You know, Joe was a boxer. Fighters, you got to have a strong neck if you're a fighter. So, and have that neck connect and head connected to the rest of the body. It's also super important. Okay, got those done. And now we're going to move on to some chest expansion. Or upright. This guy out of the way. Okay. Back upright. We got everything connected. Head is connected. We just carry that on this next series. Which is important to find, because we're going to need the foundation from this exercise later on, which you'll see. Let's do a little thigh stretch. All right, let's face forward now. Do some arm circles. We'll do arm circles and then a couple of variations that are considered men's exercise. And again, at the end, when we go to discussions, we can talk about why and all that stuff. So here's a variation that's considered men's variation. Still a shave. And then a hug. Good, okay. Now moving on to another one that is definitely men's exercise, considered a men's exercise. Sometimes this one has some confusion about it because people do it all different kinds of ways. They do a lot of arm work. This is the Swakate series or the sidearm series. Do it with their arms instead of their back. I'm going to attempt to do it with my back. Super hard exercise. The other thing too is if you're not working on original equipment and you're working on equipment that does half the work for you, it's easy. This is the 80-inch, which makes all the difference in the world. Anybody can do this on something else, but an 80-inch original reformer, it's tough. In first gear, so let's see what happens. Jay can correct me on this because loves to do that. Let's go. Whew, okay, one more side. So what do you feel happening on those? Not so much arms, the back. And that's the challenge, moving the arms from the back. And you'll notice I do have kind of a wide base here. So on this 80-inch first gear, I need it. This is another one where you really have to work that pushing down to pull up principle for this to work. Again, if you're muscling it through your arms, not too bad, but when you're connecting from your back in a strong center, changes everything. Whew. All right, we're done. So next up, again, this is why the order is so important. Now, after you got all that work, shoulders and back, time for the snake and twist. If you have anything left in your body after that little series. So let's see what happens. High bar for men, oh, you know, for this man anyway. Try it. And then twist. Twist with the bar up high isn't as photogenic as with it down because you really can't twist so far because you want to keep your hips level to the bar, not drop them down. That changes everything. All right, let's have fun. Let's have some fun. Oh, close the carriage. That's always a good sign when that happens. All right. And getting on there without the carriage flying out is the first battle you have to undertake. All right. Jay, how are we doing so far?
Looking very good, Joel.
Oh, thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for the encouragement. All right, so here's another one. After you get all that done, it's not time for a break yet. We're now gonna do some pulling straps on the head, more neck. My gosh, if I was a boxer, I'd be so ready to take a punch after this. Very nice. Now, time for a little active recovery. As I put the straps on for the next exercise, take a breather. Let the heart rate come down. Again, if anyone ever says Pilates does not get your heart pumping, they need to go do Pilates somewhere else. Clearly, they're not doing the real stuff. Okay. Do a little corkscrew now. Ah, so good on the spine. Another little kind of a challenging but feel good exercise. This little TikTok. Joe was so nice to throw this in at this point. He was nice every once in a while, as you can tell from the order of some of the exercises. Okay, here's another one, a fun one, but also, if you're a wrestler, this is a great exercise, because you're gonna be rolling. I'm just gonna go right into it. No need to measure today. Getting right into it. Find that double leg pull. And for the next exercise here. All right. All right. Long spine. Super important to lead with your pelvis on this. Stay as long as you can for as long as you can. And after that, I never enjoyed circles and frogs as much as after that last exercise. Okay. On to the knee stretches. The good old knee stretches. We teach that to people at the beginning, and the knee stretches stay with you your whole life. Okay. Now, let's do some push-up. Actually, we'll do some running after that. Again, nice little exercise after doing all those hard ones, especially when you do full reps. And just one rep, I must move on. The show must go on. Oh, so good. Okay. Enough of that. Back into some work. The control push-ups now. Second gear, use the block. No springs come off. And we do all that work to put it all back. And hit you from the other angle now. Really important to find the back of your body. Find your seat on this so you can stay tall. Okay, time for some stretches. Little stretch series. Some front splits, pushing out. Avoid riding the springs in, resist the springs, scoop the belly. And we'll do a little one. Really reaching into the carriage as you come in. It's so hard to not ride those springs in, but that's half the exercise. Gotta work those springs both directions. Even when you get tired. Adjustment there. Okay, side splits. One spring on this. Just gonna do the basics on this one for time. Most everybody knows these. Find your center. Find the connection into your back. Just that one for today. Because we got some more men's exercises right around the corner. Save some time for those. Okay, let's do some Russian split. Moving along. Hopefully with all of this continual movement, it's keeping you entertained. Really find your back leg on this. The back leg is everything on this exercise. Use it to push the carriage out. Push into the back leg to send the carriage out. And on to the other side. Okay, while we're still in Russia, we did the splits. Let's do some Russian squats. Yes, old Russian squats. Always a challenge. Don't know how the Russian dancers do it. By far, not as good as if I was a Russian dancer, but fun nonetheless. Again, another one. Please, standing exercises, have a spotter. Super important. This is another exercise like the others that you got to keep your connection. If you get in weightlifting mode, you will bite it. Lead from your hips, from your center. Two springs, by the way, if you ever want to practice this with someone who has experience with these. Okay, Here's the fun stuff. Okay, chest expansion. Really keep two-way stretch in your body. Okay, here's another fun one, men's exercise that doesn't get shown very often. If using an 80-inch like this,
Guys, please hang in there. We've lost visual of Joel. I do want to, since I have you here, there's a Q&A feature. Feel free to put your questions in there. We'll address them later. So I appreciate that.
What happened to Joel? We did him in.
We did him in. Anna, why don't we move to Moses and let me see about getting Joel back on.
They're having some horrible weather in the southeast. He's probably
Fighting with that. Okay. So I will toss it to Moses, and I'd like to just remind people, I forgot to say this at the start, so I'll tell you now. If you're posting to social, which we highly encourage, we'd love you to use the hashtag Contrology Crew. So hashtag Contrology Crew. Remember that we have a Q&A feature to put your questions in there, which we will address at the end. And that's it. Let's toss it to Moses.
all right, we're back. We're back.
Oh, no,
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. We're almost done, I promise.
Almost there. We see the back. I see a screen.
Almost there. Are we good? Can you see me?
No, I see.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Zoom, don't let us down. All right,
there.
we're almost done. Zoom is telling me I'm out of time. I'm so sorry. Almost there, guys, I promise. Yeah. Almost there. Okay, one more men's exercise. Oh, this is a good one. Promise. It's worth it. Nothing else that's entertaining. Boxing. This is one special request from Jay, by the way. As we were prepping, he asked me to do this one, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Good. All right. Grand finale. Let's do some basics on this. I'm going to finish with a star. We'll just do some basics. Sorry, no bow and curtsy. I am not a dancer. You know, that gets done and seen sometimes. I don't think Joe really did that, but anyway, who knows? Woo. Hopefully learned something. Nothing else. Maybe you got a few laughs. Kept you on the edge of your seat. On to Anna and my friend Moses. Thank you all for watching. See you in a little bit.
Thank you, Joel. That was awesome. Very inspiring. I have to say there were a couple moments where I actually winced, the headstand in particular, and the chat we have going here behind the scenes. I don't think I was alone. We're commenting about, you know, our nerves. So you impressed us. It was entertaining and highly educational. And I'll just interject here. So many of you are probably watching going, oh my gosh, what is he doing? I wish I had more instruction. And I would like to remind you that Joel and Moses are resources for you, so that afterwards, if you want to connect with them, ask them questions, take virtual sessions, see what they're up to, please do that. We will send you their contact info, but just so you know, Joel is vitalitymethod.com and Moses is accesspilates.com. So they are there for you, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer questions. So let's go to San Diego to Moses and see some mat work on the new mat.
Thank you, Anna. That was amazing, Joel. You're awesome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for making time today. I am thrilled to be part of the premiere of the new Contrology mat. So what I have for you all today are some tips, some variations on what I've picked up along the way in my practice, you know, working with male clients, athletes, and all the rest of you. So follow along if you like, mind your body, be careful, and my teacher's watching, so enough talking, let's get moving. It's great to see you, Jay. I like to come down onto the mat in a somersault right into my 100. So after I've been sitting, I need to stretch my body a little bit to get warmed up here and then just go for it. I like to step it up a notch with the Ultra Mini. And for me, this really kind of takes it a new level. If you don't have one, highly recommend one. What I've also picked up along the way is using the strap of the mat and the Ultra Circle with the pads on the inside. Often give this to my guys to help them find where they're pulling from when they get to doing their 100. And this is a great way for them to feel where, what. It addresses a lot of questions. Onto the roll up. If you have the weighted bar, reach back for it. Stretch your spine and use your strap. Adjust yourself so you have enough tension at the ankles to find that two-way stretch from your gut through your legs. Often I'll add a little deeper core work there. so we have some nice flow. Onto the rollover. I love the handles of the mat. Lose the strap, reach back for your handles, adjust your body so your arms are straight. Think of the handles as a handrail on your stairwell. And I like to keep the back flat as I introduce the rollover. Before I take it up a notch, I want to make sure they have the proficiency and the awareness in their body to execute with control through their powerhouse. Into the leg circles. This is one I've used with a lot of my footballers. And again, adjust the body so the arms are straight. Resist the urge to grab those handles. Just think of them as that handrail. They're there to assist. Really open the hips. And you really want to find where their range is here. That is a great appreciation for these guys. So perhaps this might help you with maybe someone you might be thinking of in your practice, or maybe for yourself. In case you're wondering, the reach back to the handles sometimes may not be agreeable to everybody. So just take your blocks, slide them back, reach down for your strap. As you lie back and lose one of the legs, just slide it off to the side, to the end of the strap. Reach wide so you have a nice opening of your chest, and give yourself some space. For a great leg circle. Again, find tension in the strap at the ankle. Stabilize your body and just know it's going to go. And find your working range. I have other variations that I've picked up along the way. Those are two of my favorite. For rolling like a ball, I love the steel band magic circle, the Mac Daddy of magic. Resist the urge to squeeze and use those legs. I like to use the circle to get the legs out of the way so we get into the lower back of a lot of these guys who are really strong upper body, but a little tight in that low back. Maybe you know that body type. And see if you can get it back there. Make space for the gut, in and up. So that eventually we won't need the crutch of the circle. I like to insert a move that I call the arrow here. Roll over onto your stomach, arms reach down by your side where the blocks are. Align your legs and just let your heels come away so you feel your knees come together. And as you press everything to the mat, find the resistance to get some length in your spine and recover from a little bit too much of that forward bend, if that might be something you notice in your bodies that you're working with. On to the next segment here. I like to reach back so I can feel how the front of the body has to work to assist when I start to go into single legs here. So when I reach, I'm working that part of my body as well. And it applies for the doubles when you get to that as well. I like to reach back here, find some length, adjust your body if you need to, so you can feel where you're lengthening and strengthening. So when you're here, you know that this is working as you reach out to chest expansion. And you reach up and back and home. And you can step it up a notch here and bring it in. reach back for a movement I call single leg swings. Really helps people get into their straight leg pulls. And it's just a swing like this. So you get this, and I want to draw your attention to not over rotating, bringing your legs together at the knees, and don't over rotate here. Use the front of your leg, use the entire portion of the leg into your gut. So when you do your doubles, there and here, and crisscross here, crisscross here. And I like to insert one more arrow here for good measure. And on to spine stretch forward. Bring your blocks back to the front position. Place your heels, get the legs out of the way so you can really get that back to lift. And I like to go right into a reach around with the palms up and find using the arms to lift the spine and try to keep it there and go into my spine stretch. Once you have it, you can go here with the arms. And go right into open leg rocker. And take it and bring it up. And if you want to challenge yourself a bit, try not to move like me and keep your back up. Use your stomach to lower and lift the legs as we go right into corkscrew. Adjust yourself so you can reach back for the handles if that's agreeable to your body. Again, resist the urge to over-rotate those legs. Bring those legs together at the knees. If you're a knock-kneed person, you'll really appreciate that. Take your legs where you can over to the side. Find your range. That's it. Take it over to the side. And reverse here. Before you go up, challenge yourself there. Saw. If you need to lift your spine, use this tool to lift yourself for your twist and just over your leg, bring your forehead to your knee. Legs are long, press through your heels to lift through your seat. You can add the arms. And twist over around onto the stomach. Lift your upper body, get a nice stretch of the upper body. Look over to one side, look down center, look over to the other side, and here, and lift more to return. And bring your body down. Lift the front of the body, lower to kick the legs up, and into your swing. And we go right into your push-ups. Hold. Find the strength in your body for Pilates. Bend your elbows into your ribs. Hold. Hover to the floor and hold. Come back to mid and straight. And 3 for good measure. And we've earned a little recovery. Arms are straight. Clasp your hands behind your seat. Bend for a static stretch in the front of the body. Stretch the arms and lift your chest. And repeat over here. Bend, feel the front of the body, get a nice deep stretch. Press the legs to the floor. Lift your shoulders So lengthen your neck and stretch the front. One of my favorites, neck pull. Definitely use your strap. Find where you've got the connection in your ankles as you align through your legs. Clasp your hands, bring them behind your neck. Stretch your spine to engage. Lift yourself up and take elbow out. Reverse it. Lift, get that COVID belly in and up, and bend yourself forward. Lift and roll it out. Wonderful variations with that. Adjust your body, reach back for your handles for your jackknife. Legs up. Resist the urge to over rotate. Get those inner thighs to work to lift your legs up and out. Got your mini nearby? You can go on the inside, but here's some real muscle confusion for you. Take the mini on the outside of your ankles, connect with your body, and for jackknife. It's a delicious massage of the internal organs. Nice and tall for spine stretch forward. So take your feet out to the edge of the mat. Take the widest grip onto the strap. Lift your body tall. Use this tool if it's useful. And twist. Fill the lungs, empty the lungs. Love this stretch for the neck as well. Lift and reach. One more. Side kicks. Use the strap to anchor your bottom leg. Flex your foot. Align your back edge of the mat with your body with the mat. Take your hand behind your neck and hold front if you need it. And there are some points to help connect with that powerhouse to swing that top leg. So I've reduced the number of repetitions just for the sake of giving you some options on what we can do on the mat. The mat is the keystone in my Pilates practice. I love it. There's a challenge every day. Onto teaser, lose the strap. Sitting teaser, love it. Straighten your arms, keep your elbows straightened. Guess what? You got to use your backside to stay lifted. And right into your teaser. Got that? Keep your elbows straight, resist the urge, and don't bend them like I just did. Legs. Still legs, arms. Everything out, everything up. everything out. Keep everything out about a few inches off the floor. And here's what I call my teaser roll. That's it. Step it up a notch. All right. Oh yeah, feel the burn. And don't collapse, bring it down. Quickly over onto your stomach for some swimming. Big arms and big legs. And right into your version of a headstand. I like the 3-point for myself. And pike safely home. Right into leg pull front. Kick, 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 kick. And we have the other side. Place your hands wherever it's comfortable for you. Fists, wrists, whatever you need. Get those hips lifted. Long feet. And right into a strength hold from your push-up bars. Fist, wrist, whatever works for you. And lift and hold. 2, 3, count for 7 days of the week. And come down. Over onto your stomach for rocking. Reach back. Stretch your thighs by pulling up on your ankles. Lift your chest to stretch deeper into the front. Now lift both knees and chest and rock. And carefully bring yourself out and on your back, use your handles. Remember, it's a handrail. Do the best you can. Adjust your body for balance control. Legs, hips, legs, return. Now let's put it all together. And long spine home. And sit right up for your seal. Big Daddy Mac to help you find your human magic circle. Lift your body here. Now don't just smack your feet together. Let the resistance of the circle help you find that secondary muscle group that helps us look good. That's it. Okay, I'm feeling it. I found it. Let's lose the prop as soon as we can. Reach under. Resist with the arms and the inner legs so that your feet come together for your rock. Yes. And come right up. And I like to finish with a few moves. A little bear crawl in the woods. Awesome stuff. Your back is warmed. Maybe you've seen these in Joe's videos. Whoop. A little marching. I don't know why you do Pilates. I do Pilates so I can move. It takes me back to the days of martial arts and doing my roundhouse kicks, finding some symmetry. So every day, move, get a little deeper into your powerhouse. Thank you for joining us.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Moses. That was amazing. I'm going to, well, I have you here, Moses. I want to ask you a question, and Ken can chime in as well, but a question did come in that relates directly to the mat, to the physics or the technology of this mat in particular. Is the strap with the ankle weight on it, excuse me, that end of the mat, is it weighted at all? Ken, can you speak to that?
No, no weight on the strap. It's just a straight cotton strap permanently attached.
Okay, so thank you for that. Moses, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, some of those things, really outstanding. So we'll come back to you guys then for questions. Let's toss it back to Joel so he can get on to the Contrology Cadillac and show you some moves there, as well as with the neck stretcher.
Hello, welcome back to Atlanta, Duluth, Georgia. So we're just going to do a couple quick exercises again, kind of building on what we've done on the Reformer, strengthening the neck. This is the neck stretcher, lovely device. You can do some seated work with it that's actually really gentle for people. You can do some more challenging work on the outside of the Cadillac frame to challenge the neck and your connections a little bit more. It looks really scary. The seated stuff is actually just, again, it's very, very gentle and nice. This stuff's a little more challenging that we're going to do here. So place this here. You want to step up to where you find some good tension and really find your legs. One of the challenges on this is to try to keep length, even though we're going to round forward on this, similar to like your neck pull on the mat. And resist the spring on the way up, trying to keep the length, even though there's some rounding. Working from the center. Working the neck a little bit, but really using power, sending power from your center into your feet. Really important on this as well. Let's go to the other side. So there's some, can also be done this way too. Again, for so a little more advanced, not really for everybody. Good. And then another one you can do, it's a little more advanced, is you can take it directly to the Cadillac for a little bit of side neck work. Again, Joe, you know, he was a fighter at one point. So again, having a strong neck, super important for everybody, but especially if you're a fighter, you gotta have a strong neck. And on this one, you're just gonna slide the head to the side. The head actually has a little bit of ability to do lateral flexion. Again, not one that's super impressive on camera because it looks really small, but it's a lot of good work happening there. All right. Yeah, this side is. Good. So that's some stuff with the Contrology neck stretcher. Beautiful piece. It's so well done. The spring tension, perfect on this. Perfect. So well done with getting that. And then the width of the mat or the strap and everything is really nice. So really well crafted piece of original equipment. So now we're actually going to slide the Cadillac this way and just do 2 more exercises on the outside. If I can get maybe some of my lovely assistants here to help me. We're going to pull it this way. Probably a little bit more. Keep it coming. I think that should do it. All right, so these are a couple exercises done on the outside of the frame with the push-through bar. These don't get seen very often, but oftentimes people wonder, why is it that the original foot bar has this, or push-through bar rather, has this little flat thing there? Well, I'm going to show you why. I do have a little pad that I made that I put here for my chin. I'm going to put it right here. Just makes this exercise a little more pleasant. I'm going to get on here. The hands will be here, again, just for stability. Not that this has ever gotten away from me, but just in case. But you do want to still connect into your back. Nice and tall. Nice open. And then just work it down and back up. Keep the connection in your center. Try to find your double leg pull from your mat work on this. You don't need many. It's really a nice exercise. Now we're going to do squats on this. It really gets deep quickly. So same thing, find your double leg pull, connected. Nice open connection. And then we're just going to squat. Do a couple with the heels on. Bending at the ankles. And we'll go a little farther this time. Hopefully you can kind of see a double leg stretch in here. Again, well-crafted piece of equipment, a wonderful Cadillac, wonderful neck stretcher, makes these exercises amazing. You can really feel what the intent of these exercises was, what Joe intended here. So, ta-da, we are done. Let's hand it back off to our lovely host, Anna Caban.
Thank you. That was awesome, Joel. Thank you so much. So I'm going to wait for this camera to come back. Here we go. I have a slew of questions. I'm so excited. I'm going to start actually since, well, I'm going to go back to the beginning, I think, and go in sequence. So some of these questions are directly to individuals, and other ones could kind of speak the group. Going to the very top and overall in general, Jay, there was a question of any advice for new male instructors. So oftentimes their instructor whom they've learned from might have been a woman. Any insight and advice for those male instructors?
Well, people are people. And this whole thing, you know, Joe lived in a very, very different era than we're in now. And women were treated very differently. In some ways better, in some ways a hell of a lot worse. But a lot of it is kind of become part of this mythology, you know, the men and the women. And women were ladies, and they were all treated as ladies, and the door was held open for you, and your cigarette was lit for you. And I mean, it was all this kind of stuff that now people kind of look at like, you know, and people didn't exercise, especially women did not exercise. Remember, it was thought and believed that if women exercised, it would destroy their reproductive ability and they would grow hair on their chest. Now, that sounds so absurd to us today, but even doctors would have told you that during Joe's time. So it was just a very, very different situation. As far as today, I remember doing a men's workshop here several years ago. And I started off by saying, if you're going to teach men Number one, you never, ever, 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 ever use ballet terms. Number two, you never, ever, 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 ever mention the pelvic floor. And number three, if you have any copies of Pilates Style magazine hanging around, hide them. And then go for it. Because the work is not that different. I mean, like a lot of the things that Joel did today, yeah, we used to consider those men's exercises, but there are women who are doing a lot of those now. It's not for everybody. It's not for every man, let alone for every woman. But it's a matter of, generally speaking, you know, men have more upper body strength, or at least we think they do. So a lot of the things, I mean, again, because Joe was a boxer, as Joel said several times, you know, working on the strength of the neck, you've got to be able to take a punch as well as give one. So a lot of that stuff. But if you're, I don't know, I think you teach the body in front of you and the person in front of you. And there's always going to be a little bit of the personality that enters into it, whether it's a male or a female. And I don't know, you give them what they need. And
Thank you. That's perfect. That's a perfect response, Jay. Thank you for that. While I have you, Jay, I had a question about the order. Someone said on the Reformer, in particular, the mention was the splits were in a slightly different order than they learned. Do you think that Joel did this in a different order because it was specific to men, or just perhaps there could be a slightly different order?
No, I mean, I mean, I don't know who asked the question. I don't know where they learned, what order they learned. I mean, I have a specific order that I teach that I learned a million years ago, but especially when it comes to the splits, I mean, what feels good.
That makes sense. That's fine. Thank you. Let's go on to, and I'm going to ask kind of Joel and Jay, because Joel was on the Reformer and Jay clearly knows this Reformer, knows the exercises and knows the whole physics of it. But Joel's on an 80-inch Reformer and some people have 86-inch Reformers. So the question is, in doing the men's exercises, does the exercise change based on one versus the other, 80 versus 86? How does that change the exercise, if at all?
Joel, do you want to do
Yeah,
that?
sure. I'll field that one. Yeah, in my studio, I actually have 86s, and I have 3 86s and 3 80s. And yeah, big difference. Big difference. Well, it's the difference is when you're using the straps for either when they're on your feet or in your hands. Big difference. On the 86, your strap is 6 inches longer. So for example, in Swakate, when you're pulling on an 86, the spring does not have to stretch very far. When I'm on an 80, because everything else is the same, carriage, spring length, but now I have to pull that spring 6 inches longer. And even though the springs are calibrated to keep, you know, pretty uniform tension, it does get tougher when you're going out there. So the Swakate series on an 86 feels very different, you know, not as hard. So it has its place for some people. Or on the 80, to really get that feeling, if you gear out the 80-inch Reformer, put it in second gear and do Swakate, it's a little easier. In fact, when you're learning it, that's what I recommend, is gear it out. So you have another, even an inch or two of a longer strap makes a big difference when doing that exercise. So yeah, strap length, 6 inches more strap makes a huge difference in how all of the exercises feel when you're utilizing straps. But other than that, you know, they're very similar.
Well, the springs actually work a little differently too, because technically, ideally, the 86 should have a different spring than the 80-inch. But you're using the same springs on them. So that, again, you're getting into something very subtle, but it does change how the carriage moves, and it changes the feedback you're going to get from it. I learned, I mean, we only had 80-inch reformers, and that's what I learned on. That's what I spent so many years working on. And I can't work on anything else. I mean, my body just, it doesn't work for my body. And I even find it hard teaching. I don't like teaching on longer reformers because of what I'm seeing in the student's body. But that's me.
Thank you. That's super helpful. Question, let's see. Ken, our dear Ken, can you speak to the mat, the foam used in the Contrology mat? Is it the same as the reformer?
Yeah, it's the exact foam that everybody really likes. So we kept that so that we'd have that same feeling. And the other thing that we did too on the folding mat is we kept the bottom perfectly smooth, so there's no protrusions to scratch your floor. So those two things. But yeah, it's the exact same foam that we use on the Cadillac and on the reformer on all the Contrology line.
Oh, good. So that's what I was going to ask you. Everything so far, it's the same foam.
Same foam.
Okay, great.
You
Moses,
guys would kill us if we changed the foam.
I'm sorry?
Our customers would kill us if we changed the foam. That's the foam.
I love the foam. That's awesome.
I don't want to die.
Moses, question for you. What are the pros and cons of the new Contrology reformer, mat versus a contour mat as far as doing the exercises? Can you speak to that? There's no contour at the end. There are poles or dowels, but can you speak to any difference in the exercise without the contour?
Well, you just have to be careful that who you're giving the an exercise to, that their reach back is not going to take their arm out of their shoulder joint. That's primary. So only if someone has that range and you can see they have that physicality to reach back and stay connected to their powerhouse, do you use them. So otherwise you can bend the elbows into goalposts, slide yourself back, and again, resist the urge. You probably saw me grip because of the challenge on the demand on the body. So maybe I gripped, but my goal was to try to hold with long hands. So I used those handles as a handrail. And, you know, they're not there for me to torque my body on them. They're just there to assist.
Thank you. Awesome. Joel, when you were using the Cadillac, were you using the heavier J-Pack springs? Or no, excuse me, when you use the Cadillac in general, do you tend to use the heavier J-Pack springs with most of your clients, or can you speak to what springs you do use with your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the J-Pack springs. It depends on the person. The arm springs in particular are just amazing. They really help find the back right away. However, they're pretty tough. So if I have a new person and we're just working on finding the connection, yeah, I don't use them. They're just too heavy, because then it's going to turn into, they're going to fight it with their shoulders and their chest. So they're wonderful. The leg springs are heavier leg springs. So again, I don't use those except for certain clients once they have some strength, and even more important than that is the connection of their legs into their body, because I don't want it to turn into a leg exercise, right? I want it to find that connection. So for most of my clients, I'm using the springs that shipped with the Contrology. The arm springs that ship with it are perfect, and they are a true arm spring. They're not a light leg spring, which has been used for years and years. It's a true arm spring. So even with that, it's a little lighter than the J-Pack, but man, you can connect. It's just amazing. And then the leg springs that ship with it are like the perfect tension. They give you a little bit of resistance, but they're not so heavy that your legs, if you have strong legs, they dominate and you lose the connection. So long story short, it depends on the person and depends on the experience of the person. If they can connect into their body, connect the legs to the body, connect the arms to the body, then I'll give them the J-Pack spring. So I love having them in the studio for when we need them, but it depends on the person. Hopefully that answers that question.
Thank you very much. Ken, I'm going to toss this question back to you, although Moses has the answer, I'm sure, but let's hear it from you since you are very involved with the design of the mat. Is the mat bar end raised or is it flush, the actual mat at that end?
It is slightly above the surface of the mat, the top of it is. It was actually really a challenge for us because we wanted to have enough room underneath the bar between the floor and the bar, but we didn't want to make it too low. So so it's actually the top of the bar is slightly above the top of the mat.
Thank you. Moses, I'm going to ask you this question. When you were rolling on the mat, it is a folding mat, right? Can you tell us how it felt?
Oh, great.
Felt good?
Yeah, I had no reservations about, anyone's safety with the mat because it's very low profile. However, it truly supports your back. It's really what you need when you're going to be on the floor. There's a huge demand on the body and a lot of pressure on the vertebra of the spine. So you want to make sure that you have proper padding with a lot of these exercises because they may look deceiving. But I mean, after 24 years, there are so many things on the mat that I will never do, and that's okay because I'm still trying to master some of these really basic and somewhat challenging moves that I demonstrated for you today. And there are many more that we didn't even get to because I just found that over the time that these people really needed the bodies need to execute these, as optimally as they can before I start to give them some deeper extensions, some deeper rotations. But the padding on this mat is perfect.
Super, thank you. Joel, I'm going to toss this to you, although my guess is that Jay will also speak to it. I'm also controlling those cameras here, so trying to find you guys. Okay, so Joel, on the reformer, last question that just came in is, how does the 80-inch reformer differ for a 5-foot person to a 6-foot person? So foot difference in height, how would the 80-inch differ for them, if at all?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I get that a lot, even from some of the teachers here. It's funny. Going back to the thing, it really depends on the body because there are some people that are 6 foot tall, but they got really long legs, and so, like for example, when they go to the short, everything else is first gear, but when I put them on the short box, their legs are so long, I've got to put them in second gear so they don't, hit the front of the or hit the spring bar. So it really depends on the proportions of that 5-foot person or that 5'8" person or the 6-foot person. For the most part, if a person is 5 foot to 6 foot, it's fine. It really makes no difference. I have a guy that's 6'5", and we work out on the 80-inch reformer just fine. We have to maybe gear it out for him a little bit on some things, but it really works. So you have to, there's no black and white answer on that. You have to get the person on the equipment, maybe adjust it a little bit for them. But for the most part, the 80-inch as it is fine for the vast majority of people without having to really change anything.
Yes, and I do recall Jay also saying on one of these, events that we had, that if someone doesn't fit for an exercise, it doesn't work there. Pilates is a system, so they can go somewhere else and do something similar where they get the same shape and space. So Jay, I'll let you maybe speak a little, embellish on that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not everybody has to do every exercise. I have worked with Los Angeles Lakers, 7 feet tall, on an 80-inch reformer. Now, no, they did not do every single exercise. I mean, there are things we had to adjust, modify, things we just couldn't do. Fine. They still got a really good workout. We still accomplished what we needed to accomplish. We either went to the Cadillac, we went to the mat, the mat doesn't care how tall or how short you are. So there's always something, there's always a way. And that's why you need to know the whole system. It's not just about knowing the reformer. It's not just about knowing the mat. You have to know everything. And then you know how to deal with these things. But yeah, I mean, and there's always the wall. You know, I mean, it doesn't make any difference what size you are, and that you can get a full workout with the wall. You know, so that's all part of it. So it's knowing how to use the system. And I think people worry so much about some of these things. I think they worry far too much. Just go for it. If it doesn't work, okay, so try something else. You know, something will work. It's just a matter of, you know, finding it.
Thank you.
I haven't had, I mean, a lot of the questions that I get, I mean, really kind of throw me because they're things I never, ever even thought about. Because it just, you know, again, the way I was trained and working with only 80-inch reformers, that's all we had. And so, I mean, there wasn't all these options for people to think about and worry about and question. You know, you just did it.
That's great. Thank you. Moses, I'm going to ask you this question. When you are rolling on the, or actually, yeah, when you are rolling on the mat, do you feel the gap, the fold where the mat folds? No.
No.
Simple response.
It was pretty smooth. No, the hinge is concealed enough where, and you know, I think that that speaks to the foam, the mat. You know, it's pretty consistent on both sides, so it's quite seamless, even though there is a gap.
Okay, since I have you here, Moses, on Spotlight, can you speak to which apparatus you would start on with a man with osteoporosis? If you'd like to speak to that, if not, we can go to someone else, but it says osteoporosis in men, which apparatus would you start with?
You know, I think I'd probably go to the Cadillac and just, you know, put him on his back to start and just do my assessment there.
That makes sense. Jay, would you?
I don't know that I would put springs on his legs with a moving platform at this point, but I would kind of observe, you know, how he was moving. You know, how did he tie his shoes? You know, did he come in with a coat? So all of those things determine really. You know, Romana was like in her 80s and had osteoporosis and did the swan on the barrel. And, you know, her tagline was, you know, they tell me I have osteoporosis. There's a lot of people who are physically fit, muscularly aware with those conditions. So, you know, I just kind of you have to assess where people walk into you with these conditions and how big that elephant is in the room for them. So again, I think Jay spoke to that, you know, you work with the body in front of you and the person. You know, yes, they will tell you something, but it's really more important for you to assess what it is their body is telling you. So that will come with some time. So I wouldn't say that that's definitely where you would go with someone with osteoporosis and can that answer this way. So.
Jay, would you like to add any color to that?
No, I think I might start on the mat just to see what's going on with them. But sort of something that Moses was touching on, people lie, bodies don't. Sometimes people lie intentionally, sometimes they lie unintentionally. Because if they've been living with a condition for years, that's become so much a part of them. They're not going to walk in and say, oh, I've got this condition. Because they don't even realize they've got them anymore because they've lived with it for so long, it's become part of them. So you say, you know, do you have any issues? They say, oh no. Well, they're lying, but they're not lying on purpose. Sometimes they will lie on purpose, but that's why I say, but the body doesn't lie. So you need to, wherever you are comfortable with that person, whether it's on the Cadillac or on the mat or whatever, just to get an idea of what's happening with it. And then you go from there. because it will tell you what it wants. It'll tell you what it needs. But you just have to be open and aware of it. But if somebody comes in and says, oh, I have this and I have this and I have this, well, already you're predisposed to something or other. Now, do they really have it, or are they just a hypochondriac? You know, so you have to, I mean, I have a guy came to me, this was a number of years ago, young guy, big, tall, you know, you look at him, you think, you know, hey, and he came in, he said, now, we have to be very careful of my back. And I said, what's wrong with your back? He said, oh, I had surgery. I said, really? What kind of surgeries? I had a microdiscectomy. I said, when? He said, 7 years ago. Get your ass over there and move. You know, I mean, he was a young guy. He had this little minor back surgery 7 years before. You know, come on, let's go. I threw him on the big barrel, made him do the swan, and we were fine. You know, a lot of it, you know, people get in their own head. They have to be careful of this. And you know, you have to listen to them, but you don't necessarily have to believe them. You know, check it out. See if it's really going on. And there may be things they're not even aware of, you know. They say, oh, I'm perfect. And then you say, you know, okay, well, why is everything so lopsided? And why are your hips over here and your back over there? So you have to use your head, use your eyes, be aware.
That's perfect. Teach the body in front of you. I want to wrap it up on that note. Thank you all for your great questions. And thank you again to our amazing instructors who are kind enough to donate their time today, Moses Urbano and Joel Crosby. Jay, we love having you. Thanks again. And yes.
Before we go, Anna, can I add one more thing? Because I'm concerned about this. Watching, especially Joel, a lot of the stuff he did on the Reformer, he does it so beautifully. It looks so easy. It looks like such nothing. It's dangerous as hell. So don't be trying this stuff without being ready for it. Don't try to give it to your clients when they're not ready. If you can't do a squat standing on the floor, you're not going to do a squat on a moving platform. If you can't do the standing chest expansion at the end of the Cadillac, you're not going to do it on a moving platform. So make sure that people are ready for these exercises and make sure that you're there to spot them. And like Joel, how many years have I known you?
I think we met like in it was 2011, 2012, something like that. It's been a bit.
I thought it was even more than that.
Maybe it was. It seems like an eternity, Jay. It's been one.
I remember, I think I first encountered you at a workshop in Chicago.
Yes, that's right. Dana Fanti. Yeah.
And you were strong, you were in good shape, and you knew Pilates, whatever. But we worked together for how many years before I taught you some of these exercises?
Oh, yeah, it was long, almost a decade, maybe almost, yeah.
Years before some of these exercises. And most people never do. So it's not something you need to teach all of your clients, and you don't have to give this to your 88-year-old lady tomorrow. Which, you know, so be careful. They're dangerous. And I just want to emphasize that to people. I don't want to hear about people flying off the Reformer, ending up with broken bones, and because that would be pretty scary. Common sense. And I'm done.
Perfect. Thank you for saying that, Jay. And also, if nothing else, for some people, I think it's just a benefit to see these exercises. Perhaps they've never seen them. It just shows them a little bit more of the essence of what Joe had in mind. And it could be an educational tool, if nothing else. So I'm so glad that we were able to share it with you all. I want to thank you for joining us and remind you that hashtag Contrology Crew is exactly what we'd love you to use on social media. The recording will be delivered on Monday of this workout, so you can see it again and come back to it. And most importantly, again, use Moses and Joel as resources, please visit their website. So Joel is virtual Pilates, whoops, listen to me, I'm all spaced out here. VitalityMethod.com, and then Moses is accesspilates.com. So thanks again for joining us. There is more available as far as our equipment. If you want to see what we have and what's up and coming, go to Contrology.Pilates.com. Again, the mat will be available in January, and something else is rolling out shortly thereafter. So please keep your eye on us. If you want to see us on Instagram, it's Contrology.bb. So you can always catch us there as well. I'm Anna Caban, brand ambassador for Contrology. Thank you for joining us today, and have a safe weekend.